Hello, I'm Michael Plumstead back again with a chat with Don Jones. This time we're going to be covering in 15 minutes all sorts of things like vaccines. Are they necessary? We're going to cover awareness. How do people become aware of things that they would benefit them, let's say? How would people decide whether to take a vaccine and not take a vaccine? That's also become a real thought or a real question as we move forward in the coming months, because vaccines have a tremendous amount of poisons in them, and there is a front to that with the pharmaceuticals. The other aspect we're going to talk about is, how do we reach out? How do we reach out to one another? All of us have certain information and that we're believing, and that's also we touch on that topic. How can we believe in something? Where do we get that information historically, and we believe in it? We believe that this works. We believe that's healthy. We believe that this happened, and we believe in God. So what was the basis of that belief system that sits in our subconscious mind? So these are things that we just touch on, and we end with the role of commerce. How should the future commerce look like, and what's the role of really, really rich people? So without further ado, let's get on with it.
Well, it's interesting, because I was watching a video there from Sadhguru, like the Indian guru that I follow. And someone was asking him, it was an American chap actually, was asking him, so how do you show people what to do in these challenging times? And he said it was a 3-step process. He said that the first step was raise awareness. He said the second step was educate. And he said the third step, I forgot what the third step was. Policy. Yeah, so you change government policies and stuff around that, He says, but you can't go to step 2 before you do step 1. He said you need to raise people's awareness. And he obviously has his own views about how to do that. And I think Alatra sort of does that too, to a certain extent. He says, so you need to raise the collective awareness. And once you've raised the collective awareness, then you educate. So you move into an education phase.
That's I agree with that.
Yeah. And then the third step is
getting to step 1 is perhaps something that you and I can do.
Okay? Yeah.
Put it out there and let the universe take it and put it in front of the right people, I guess.
Yeah. And I think there's a whole lot of things that we can do on that front, whether it be a health-related motivation or a context, or a living context, or the atmosphere you create in your home context. All of those things, I think, are things that are little seeds that we can plant, to help.
Let me tell you, I had a phone call yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay? And in fact, it was actually, I think, a Skype call, but it came through on my phone. Okay, and it was this 81-year-old man, okay, who I sold him a franchise, a Future Kids franchise, a long time ago, and that was, I don't know, maybe 15 years or 20 years ago, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's the last time he touched sides with me in 2015. Okay. And it was just, I saw that because it was on Skype.
Yeah.
But he said something interesting. This is the point I want to make. he said, Michael, I phoned you. I don't know, I believe you're not in South Africa anymore. He says, I read your email that you sent out last week. Okay? It was about diabetes.
Yeah.
And he said, I've had diabetes for a long, long time. And he said, what you said there just caught my imagination. He said, I got hold of my wife, they've been married more than 50 years, and he said, I showed this email from this Michael Plumstead. I used to know Michael Plumstead, he said to his wife, and he said, he had diabetes, okay? And he shared his road on diabetes and how he overcame it. Okay?
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
you know, the last time I went to the doctors, I was put on insulin. Okay?
Yeah.
Diabetes 2,
Mm.
you know, they've got too much insulin. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
It's just like madness what doctors do when they're uneducated. And he said, we've started already. He said, we've now started. I just wanted to answer some questions, you know. And he asked me a couple of questions about taking tablets and things like that. And that was an awareness. You see, coming back to that word. Okay, I put out an email, and I have no idea who opens it. Actually, I do know who opens it. I don't know who reads it or who just reads what comes up in the first line of their browser. But I think that's something we can do. We've got to think more seriously, you and I, of how we can do it.
I agree.
So maybe we could talk a little bit to that. I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about, but that might be, you know, how do we do it? Do we, you know, I don't know. I mean, I do know. I've got all sorts of thoughts in my mind, but over to you. What are your ideas?
Well, I mean, the first reaction that I have is I think it's always useful. I'm a great one for maps, so I'd like to sort of let's sort of maybe between the two of us perhaps get a little bit of a framework going as to what that might look like, you know, because for me I'm really attracted to that integral framework, you know, which has that internal perspective and then the external perspective and the individual and then the collective. For me, that sort of covers off the four bases, you know. So, and then the context within that can be anything. It could be health, you know, or as I said, it could be a living environment. It could be, you know, how you earn money. It could be your spiritual development. And you can apply that across those four dimensions, no matter what the context is, you know. So I think it's really important. And I think the other thing too, and I don't want to cheapen it in any way, but I think there's also an opportunity for us within one of those contexts that we choose, you know, whether you choose health or whatever, to, while we're delivering that message, also to monetize it to some extent as a side benefit to support what we're doing. You know what I mean? Not let's make money out of this. Let's not make money out of this. This is sort of, you know, we can make this sustainable for ourselves while we're delivering that message. You know, so.
I had a different opinion as I expressed to you some months ago, but now it resonates with me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely in favor of it, and I do understand your four segments. Okay, and I don't think that we could do justice to anything more than a niche within one of those segments.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Otherwise, we're taking on the whole universe. That's right.
Yes, we are. Okay, and then we become sort of wishy-washy, and you know, then you know, what's important is that people must have a perception, which is there's something of value there.
That's right. And I think that whatever the context that you choose, say for example it's health, and even that's sort of quite broad, then that becomes the vehicle that delivers the message, doesn't it? You know?
Yes, yes, I agree. So if you're talking about diabetes,
Yeah.
you know, you always end off with the fact that meditation is the key to overall health in all 6 dimensions. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
So the health might get their attention, awareness, they become aware, and then there's a seed that they either drop like a hot cake or they just click, want to know more.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I go along with that because I think, yeah, obviously alternative health and health that's, you know, I've been against fight. I've been, all my articles for a long time now have been alternative to pharmaceuticals.
Yes, yes.
And
because pharmaceuticals only, by their very nature, only treat a symptom, don't they?
they only treat a symptom, and they also put other stuff in your system that is really unhealthy. So, and it's getting worse and worse. Okay, and as you started the conversation a little while ago about vaccines, and it's, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, it could be a subject that we talk about, and it could be something. One of our niches is researching at alternatives, because if it's been made compulsory, like it has already in one country. I mentioned that in our last reporting. You know, what then? You know, if we're going to get cards, as you said, or have an implant or something, and you're not going to be able to go to the doctor unless you've had it. You can't go on a cruise unless you've had this. You can't get on an aeroplane unless you've had this. You have to not have it, and so then what happens? Okay, then what happens?
I agree with you, but I think just the whole idea of the vaccine, and this is the thing that I guess sort of I find somewhat disconcerting, is it's being held out to be the solution. And by its very nature, I mean, basic logic tells you that it can't be. The solution is a healthy immune system.
Yes. Yes.
A strong, healthy immune system.
And but the pharmaceutical doesn't make a cent out of a strong immune system.
No, it's not in their best interest. Absolutely not. And that's why the vaccine sounds very much like big pharma to me. That's all it sounds like.
It is big pharma, and it always has been historically on all the vaccines. Okay, has been big pharma, and it's their only alternative to fighting people trying to strengthen their immune system. So we have to, you know, I've been in my own way a lone voice in that area, but there are lots of people all over the world, but they're not together and they're not powerful. They don't have money because there isn't money to be made in telling people they need an immune system and telling them they must, you know, take this herb and that herb and this vitamin and that vitamin. You know, it just isn't money in it. So therefore, it's always very weak. And the Bill Gates of this world and the Rothschilds are the backbone of the pharmaceuticals. Okay? And they're the backbone of this new laboratories for testing, for inventing and creating viruses on a mass scale. Okay.
And also
under the pretext that it's vaccines.
And also big data. You know, that's what, you know, Gates and Google and that, they want to know every single thing that you're doing. I mean, even now I get a monthly email from Google to say, this is how far you've walked this month. These are the towns that you visited this month. This is how much time you spent in your car this month.
Yes.
You know, and it's just like,
I saw that too. I got mine.
And I'm thinking, you know more about me than I do.
Yeah. But that didn't really worry me. I saw it yesterday. It doesn't really worry me because I know, on my phone, there's I don't know, a link to somewhere. Because even if I walk around the forest, it tells me how many meters I walked. Okay?
That's right. Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me. That they know where I am and whatever. I had friends in South Africa who refused a Facebook page because they find out stuff about you. All they're going to do is ask me, and I'll tell them everything they want to know.
That's right. Exactly right.
not,
Yeah.
that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is what they force on us through whether you're watching a movie, they're forcing something on you. Okay?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Adverts, subliminal advertising is illegal, but it happens all the time.
All the time. All the time.
So where do we who don't want to take vaccines, who I think to a degree we're still influenced by adverts and
Well, I mean, I think the fundamental message, like if you take the health context, strong, healthy immune system. If you take the broader, this hyper consumerism, the core message there is really about we need to reverse the polarity of this whole thing because commerce is dictating to people how to live their lives. It should be the other way around. Our lives should be helped and supported by commerce. It should serve us, not be our master. And
yes,
and that polarity needs to be reversed. So the Rothschilds of the world or the Bill Gates of the world need to become the server, not the master. The roles need to be reversed.